It's your girl Misha from the Surviving the Mom podcast, and this is the first episode of our new show on the LN network called Salon Talk. We'll be talking about all things women, all things girls. So we'll be putting our email down. So if women got questions that they want to talk about, or men got some questions that they want to get a man's perspective, we already got a couple, but we'll do that and we'll talk about it on this show. So of course, I'm on the show, and then I got my sister with me, Patricia.
Hey y'all.
Excuse her hands. Her hand, I don't know what's going on. I promise she not a crack, what you call it, addict. I think she doing something with her nails, but
I'll show y'all at the end. Y'all will see the results, I promise.
Okay.
It'll be worth the wait. That's a good topic. Worth the wait. Should talk about it.
What, with sex?
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
I think so.
Is it worth waiting into marriage, or you feel like you gotta test drive the car before you buy it or lease it?
I feel like if you wait, then you ain't gotta worry about test driving.
But then what if you buy it and it's a horrible car?
You won't know that it's horrible.
That's the point.
Because that'll be the experience that you have. So that'll be what you know of it. So you can't compare it to something else because you know nothing else. If that's all you know, then you'll have nothing to compare it to.
That is true.
So that's why I'm saying, like, it's worth the wait, because at the end of the day, if you know nothing about it, then you ain't got nothing to test drive. There's no reason to test drive.
But you know it's bad when it's bad. You may not be able to compare it, but you know, well, is there such thing as bad sex?
Yes. But that's only if you know that it's bad. Because if you've never been with somebody else, I mean, but everything's a learning lesson too. So it's not just like, oh, okay, this is what it is, and then it's just gonna be peaches and cream. No, it don't work like that. Like, everybody gotta learn something. Not that easy. You do.
I'm looking at your hands. I'm not even talking about what you're saying. I'm totally looking at your hands.
It is still white on there. That's because the polish is white, though. The color is white.
Okay. So do you believe in a 90-day rule?
A 90-day rule? What is that?
Like the Steve Harvey book. What is it? Act like a man, think like a lady. He said you gotta wait 90 days to have sex.
I mean, I'm not gonna say 90 days, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's too soon, personally. But that's just me.
Well, I think it also depends on, like, if you've known the person, like
that's true,
how long you've known the person prior to y'all, like, dating, I guess. And
but at the same time, it comes with a lot.
Or you have sex when y'all become a couple?
That's to each his own.
If how can I say this? If we weren't saved and wasn't trying to live by the book, I would probably still wait to have sex until, like, we were in a relationship. Well, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the vibe.
Well, I'm saying this from a not so perfect perspective. That's true. But I'm saying it from a not so perfect perspective. It's like, at the end of the day, it's really not all hyped up to what it's not hype. It's not that hype. Like, it is what it is. But at the same time, if you don't have that emotional, mental connection with somebody, or that foundation with somebody, it's kind of like a pointless situation. So then you be looking at yourself in the mirror like, dog, I didn't need to do that, or I shouldn't have done that. And then you get to the point where it's just like, okay, let me start over. Let me refresh myself. let me cleanse all those things. I don't want to do that anymore. And then it's like, now my system's clear. I don't want to go back to where I came from because that ain't where it's at. And now you're trying to start over. And it's like, it's a constant tug of starting over because you could date, you could be in a relationship with somebody, but the relationship don't work out, then you got to start all over again. So it's constant like a starting over versus just waiting. You don't want to
start shame for a woman to just have sex without what's the word? Without emotions being involved?
I feel like a woman can definitely have sex without emotions, but you got to be really in that space to just be like, I'm gonna just have sex with no emotions. But then at the end of the day, it's like you got to look at it like that's a problem. That's an addiction. Because how can anyone or why is anyone having sex without emotions? Because it's not meant to be an emotionalist thing. It's supposed to be an emotional encounter. That's why I say man and wife. It's supposed to have emotions, but when they don't, it's just like, what is this? So I feel like it's a problem.
I feel a man said that he feel like women have more of a sex drive than men, and I kind of believe it though.
And I would agree with that too, because I feel like it's more of a hormonal thing for us.
Oh, definitely.
And it's like men, they have hormones, but it's like, what do their hormones include? Because us, it's like we all over the place. So I feel like that's why it's more of our drive is bigger than theirs, because we have a cycle of emotions or hormones.
Yeah. Speaking of cycles, we talk about this in private, but not publicly. Like, I don't teachers on. I don't see how people do it on their cycles. That's nasty. That is nasty. Don't do
most people say they don't actually do it like full blown Red Sea, them parts of sea, but it's like, you know, the surface when it's barely there, that's when they be trying to be in, or when it's ending. And I'd be like, nah, just give it its whole little course and then you can come and talk about it later. Don't do it right now. That's nasty.
I don't think that's appropriate. I'm just not in the mood on my period. Like I'm irritable. Like I have bad cramps. So that's just no. Like that's
but not every woman is like that though.
That is true. It's a scripture. I'm trying to find it. Leviticus.
It does say that women and men and women is not supposed to do that. Who's up? God made me tell this stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scripture right now. Whenever a woman has her menstrual period, she will be unclean for 7 days. Anyone who touches her during that time will be unclean until evening. Ooh, I don't think that was the right one. Oh,
well, in general, you feel unclean.
If a man has sexual intercourse with her and her blood touches him, her menstrual will be transmitted to him. He will remain unclean for 7 days, and any bed on which he lies with will be unclean. That was Leviticus 19 and 24. Yes,
it's just an unclean situation all the way around. So I can't disagree with that.
Or some people say that they have sex in the shower. See, I don't understand how, like, when I get in the shower, like, my period just stops. Like, make it make sense.
It has something to do with the heat.
That's, I mean, I guess, but that's not sanitary.
I just think it's a disgusting situation, honestly. But to each its own. That's your business. You do what you do in your spare time. Just know that I don't view you as the cleanest person.
All right, moving on. Discussion with somebody and with a guy, and not a guy I was dating, but just like a friend, and he was saying that he feel like while dating that like for people that pay for their food, like whoever's paying for the date, it should be 50-50. And I kind of agree with him, but I also I did not agree with him at the same time. Because well no, I really don't agree with him. I feel like the percentage should be like 60-40. Or no, that's a little too low. Or maybe
it's
70-30.
hard to say that because we as being independent women, it's like, yes, we still want to take care of ourselves, but at the same time, it's like we want the man to do and be the man. But at the same time, it's just like, I agree that things should be 50-50. But then sometimes it's just like, maybe it shouldn't be, because at the same time, it's like if I'm equal to everything that you're doing, I feel like I'm putting you in a position to do less in the future. Like dating wise, it's like I'm making you comfortable. Like, oh, well, I don't have to work as hard. Now, if you get married, that's a completely different ball game.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm dating.
Dating, I feel like sometimes, yeah, let me take you out, let me be kind to you. But at the same time, if it's an all the time thing, or if it's like we go out 7 days a week and I'm doing, you know, 3 and 3, and then I'm 2 out of the 7.
Yeah, I get that.
And I
Question:
mean,
when you
even
get married, is it 50-50?
I feel like it can be, because I feel like everybody has their part that they play or role that they play. So I feel like partnership is a 50-50 job.
I'm talking about money wise. Would it be 50-50?
I can't just say it's money wise though, because we can't base it off of, I mean, I can make more money than my husband.
True.
So if he can't do 50-50, guess what? I'm gonna have to pick up where he can. So it's like,
would you
that's
make
a
your
different
husband
story.
sign a prenup if you make way more money than him and your business take off? You making him sign a prenup? I am making my husband sign a prenup.
I'm not. I wouldn't. Only because it's like, for me, I don't want to say like it seems selfish of me to do it, because in my mind it's like, is that me being selfish? But then at the same token, it's just like, if I don't have you sign a prenup, it's like, listen, I'm open, completely honest with you. Like, this is what I want. I want this to work. So I'm not going to have you sign a prenup. And if you choose to disrespect me, dishonor me, anything like that, then it's just like, fine, take what you got and go. Because I can do everything that I've been doing with you, or before you, after you. So it's like, you either with me or you against me. So with the prenup, I don't think you're going to try to take everything I got.
So your answer is no?
Mm-mm.
My answer is definitely yes, just because like I feel like you don't know, like people change, and I pray that I get married one time only, and that I'm with that person for the rest of my life. So, but I feel like people get changed, when they're mad, and I pray that Surviving the Mind becomes a $1 billion company. And because you're mad at me, I don't want you to be like, well, I helped her to get where you are. And it's like, nah, homie, I had this way before you. Yeah, it's grown, but you're not about to take half of, my company. I feel like in my I feel like in my prenup, I would just want it fair. Everything that we had prior to each other, we keep. Everything after that we've created, we split 50-50. Because
and that's where it's
like I feel like men get offended when a woman asks for a prenup. But
they
men
shouldn't
all
be
the time.
But I feel like at the end of the day, it's like you're building this. It's not we're building this because you're building it now. So in the future, who knows where Surviving the Mind will be? But it's like at the end of the day, that's the discussion that you would have to have with him, because at the end of the day, that's your baby. That's not his baby. He's just coming along and he might adapt to it or he might be a part of it. But at the end of the day, everything that's on there, every piece of paperwork that's signed, it has your name. And that's a agreement that you guys would have to agree upon. Like, this is my child. This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with our marriage. You can be a part of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is your business. Because at the end of looking at daddy and mommy's company, daddy doesn't walk around and be like, our company. Like, at the end of the day, he knows that's her company. He might help her with it. He might be a part of it. But at the end of the day, that's her baby. He's not going to take that from her.
Yeah. I'm just still talking about like the marriage thing. And another thing like I would want to prenup with is if I hope I marry somebody that does not have kids so that we can both go into this thing like brand new. But it's kind of rough out there. It's kind of rough out there. So if that were to happen, like I will also want to prenup just because like the child support issues too. Like I know a lot of men who are like behind like on child support or who was paying, their baby moms, money like here and there, undocumented, but then she got mad, put them on there, and like that don't count because it's
right.
not documented because it's he said, she said, and when you get married, that becomes y'all. Like that's not just him anymore. And I feel like that's not something that, I would really want to deal with because I love you and because you chose to have a child prior to the relationship or this is your situation.
Coming from someone who has dated guys with kids, it's like you become attached in a way to that person's kid. So it's just like, one, you try to do everything in your power not to like support the negative, but you try to like encourage them, like, okay, let's get this together first. Like, this is your priority. And that's why it's like really hard to date guys who have kids. But it's like, as long as you're taking care of your responsibility, I can entertain you. But it's like, I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone and you become attached to them, you become attached to their child. So it's kind of like, you might say like, I don't want to pay all your back child support. But if you truly love someone, you do anything just for the situation to become easier. And it was like, I saw this post the other day and it was basically stating like, this mom, she felt that it was unfair because she has a child with this man and this man remarried and had kids with this woman. This woman has a multi-million-dollar company and the ex-wife found out. Mind you, this man works and give this lady $900, quote unquote. I don't know if it's real or fake, but the man gives her $900 a month. I think it was a month or every paycheck. He gives her $900 to take care of their child. It didn't say he spent time with her, none of that. We don't know that. However, the mom of the child said, well, I don't think it's fair because his wife makes millions of dollars. So I feel like I deserve more because my husband's in the army and we're struggling to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I feel like when it comes to certain situations like that, I don't feel like it's necessarily the man's problem. I feel like sometimes we as women can just get caught up in what we want, and it's like you're not thinking about your child or this woman's life with your ex. You're just thinking about what you want. So now you want to take this woman's money because she married your ex-husband. So now you want the $900 plus some of her money. That's not right.
Yeah.
Not fair. So it's like I feel like it's so many different sides to dating someone who has kids, and then it's like you picking up the slack or helping. So when it comes to like a prenup, I guess I could see where you're coming from in that perspective. But it's like at the same token, it's like you do anything for that kid or for your spouse or whatever the case may be. So it's just like situations depend, and it definitely depends on the other woman too. Some women don't care about child support. Some women, that's all they think about.
Yeah,
It's sad.
I just hope that I dated one person that had children, and I was cool with it because him and his baby mom had a good relationship. Like they had already like traveled down the road of, you know, being together, and they both like realized that they just weren't meant for each other. Like they co-parent really good, like they have a good like say schedule of, you know, when they getting the kids, whoop, she moved on, he moved on. But he just had two of them, and I was just like, that's a lot.
It is.
Like,
It
I
is.
don't want to be with somebody where I'm on my first kid and you on your third or fourth or fifth kid.
Because at that point, you over it technically. Like one is cool because it's like you add a new addition, then it's like, okay, he might be into it again. But if he already got 2, 3, 4,
Yeah. What's
child,
up,
yep.
y'all? It's your girl Misha, of course, from Serving the Mind podcast. And I just want to show y'all how easy it is to make a purchase on this Serving the Mind clothing website. So guess what? You just type in survivingthemind.com and it'll take you here. So here, you want to go shopping? Click here. And then it'll bring you right here to our beautiful page, and you can look at all of our beautiful items, our dresses, our tops, our pants, whatever you want, we got it. So here, let's click on our going out dress. Here's your price. You can click on what size you want. Let's choose a 3X, how many you want. You add it here to your cart. As you can see, I've already been shopping. Go to view cart. Whatever you want, then you can go here and you can choose pickup or you can choose shipping. But guess what? Just because you watched this Surviving the Mind podcast, right here in the promo code, type in podcast. And guess what? You get 10% off of your purchase. And then you just check out. Now back to the show. So like I said at the beginning of the show, you know, people can send in their questions. So one person that already knew that we were going to start the show did ask a question. The question was, what do you do if a woman that I really like, and she says she really likes me, but her actions just don't match what she says? I'll let you go first.
I mean, it honestly just depends because at the end of the day, men say a lot of things. And we as women, we just be like, okay. And sometimes we try to give you a chance and go with it. And then it turns out to be a big mess. So it's like, I feel like you got to prove yourself. just because her actions aren't speaking volumes. Have you checked your actions? Do you think your actions are speaking volumes to you or to her? Because you could say all you want, like, oh yeah, well, she not acting like she want this, but it's like you gotta look at yourself in the mirror too and be like, okay, well, am I carrying myself? Am I doing everything to present myself to her like, okay, I really want this? Because if you don't, then she gonna think you trying to play games too, just how you thought she was trying to play games.
I would say it also depends. Like, I was talking to someone, and he's very busy. He owns his own banquet hall, and he does security. So but I told him, like, well, let me go back. He was texting me and I wasn't really like responding back, and I was kind of being dry. And he asked why, and I was just like, well, I just feel like, I'm always texting you, first, or if you text me, you real dry or whoopty whoop. And I just feel like if we're dating, I'm not going to be the first one to text you all the time. Like, I'm not about to keep double texting you, because if I do that, then I feel like you don't care. And I said, I feel like people make time for what they want to make time for. And if you really want to date me, then you would be thinking like, oh, okay, like, man, because his excuse was, oh, which is everybody's excuse. Oh, I thought I responded, but I just responded in my head, which is cool. It happens to everybody. But eventually, like, let me look at my phone and see if she texts me back or whatever. And he was like, that's just not the case. And that's just not what it is. And he was like, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. But I said all that to say, like, I get like where he coming from. Like, I'm not about to keep doing it. Like, I'm not about to keep texting you first and double texting you, because that makes me think you don't care. And it's okay. Like, if you don't care, like, I get the vibe. And I'm gonna just move right on to the next contender. Like, it's not a big deal. So I mean, I get it. Just move on, or maybe give the person, or let the person know. I guess let the
You
person
have
know
to,
your feelings, because
yeah,
people don't know what you're thinking, and maybe some people are just ignorant. Because his response was, "I don't know how to date," but I feel like that's something simple. But
I don't feel like that. I feel like him. Dating is not as easy as people make it seem. But it's like communication is the number one thing, because I just had this conversation.
what's the
Because I
5
feel
keys
like
of dating? Like, what's the 5 things you need to do to successfully date?
you have to communicate, you have to be patient with each other, you have to know what you want. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to know what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, then you just gonna be out here like, I think I want it. No, I don't think I don't know if I want that. Like, I'm gonna say those is the top 3. What the other 2 might be, I'm not sure. To each his own. But to just be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just start dating. You gotta at least have those communication, patience, and to know, like, truly in your heart exactly what you want. Because you can't just go out here like, okay, I'm gonna just go date everybody, because you're not gonna know what you want.
No facts. No facts. I wasn't meaning dating was easy. I was meaning, like, I feel like communication is easy, because I feel like communicating is easy. Because when we went through this whole talk, he was like, "Okay, so tell me, like, what do you expect out of us dating?" And he said, "What are your goals?" I said, "You want my long-term goals or my short-term goals?" And he was like, "Well, I know your long-term goals. What's your short-term goals?" And I told him, I said, "Well, my short-term goals are, just kicking in or dating with somebody, and if it leads to a relationship, then it leads to a relationship. But I'm not really trying to, push it too fast. Like I'm kind of cool with where we at. But I feel like that's communicating right there. If you can have an open conversation, then just tell me what you expect from me, or tell me what you want. I can't read your mind, you can't read my mind. So if you don't tell me, what you want, I can't tell you if I'm able to satisfy that or not, and vice versa. Like, and I think the other thing that irritates me is you're entrepreneur, so you communicate. You communicate. So if you and he can say that that's different all he want, but if you can communicate to your if you can communicate to your, what you call them, customers, I guess, then I should be easy to communicate to versus your customers.
It's not that easy though, because when you got customers, it's like, they telling you what they want and you know exactly what you could give them. Versus when you dating, it's like, yeah, I know exactly what I could give them in this moment, but it's just like, at the same time, people change, people evolve, or people sometimes just have a change of heart, and it's just like, you can't say like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Sometimes it work out for people that way, and other times it don't. So it's just like, I feel like that's why I said patience is very important, because if you don't have patience, yeah, you could communicate and say all those things, but sometimes we as women, we're so like, okay, you either gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. And then you be like, he playing. I ain't about to do this with you. Cause I know I have that really bad. It's like, I'm not doing that. But it's like, now it's like, okay, I'm being patient because he said okay to the things that I wanted. And he told me exactly what he wanted. And he's proving to me, okay, this is something that he might want. But then at the same token, it's like, okay, maybe he not. So it's like, now you on the fence.
So, but that goes to the patience thing. Like, how long do you expect me? Like, okay, so after I communicate with you and tell you how I feel, and how I want you to change, or you tell me how you feel, how you want me to maneuver or whatever, then and you don't do it, so it's like, okay, how long am I supposed to be like, what's up?
Like, everybody's different.
How long I'm supposed to be like, all right, you still not trying to change? So it's just like, I'm gonna move on.
I just feel like if it's not negative, like if the person's just not a negative person, then I feel like, me personally, I'm okay with waiting. Because it's like, I don't want to rush into anything, because it's like, at the same token, I could just be like, okay, I want this thing to go, 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 go. And it can go, 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 go all the way up until we married. And then next thing you know, we don't like each other and now we about to get a divorce. We rushed it. So me, I like the slow, let's keep it slow, steady, let's figure each other out, figure out what we want. Let's have a couple of mini arguments. We figure that out, get through that. Okay, then we have our big blowout, and then we can start building from there. But if it's just like fast, everybody is all over the place. Nobody knows where to get in, where they fit in. It's just a big mess. And that's why you see so many young people get married, and the next thing you know, they divorce, or they separated, or they not together no more. And it's like, why? Because you weren't patient enough to wait. You weren't patient enough to wait for what you need, not for what you want. So, like you said, when it ain't working out, I mean, it's nothing wrong with just walking away, especially if it's only at the beginning. But if you got a year or 2 years invested, it's like, do I really want to get up and walk away? It got to be real toxic or bad for me to get up and walk away from something that I truly invested myself in. Just to give up super quick and super easy.
How long would you date somebody, or how long would you date somebody before you expect to be married or engaged?
I can't answer that.
Why? Because somebody you dating gonna watch the show?
Huh?
Why? Because somebody dating gonna watch the show?
No.
And then why you can't answer it?
Because I don't know the answer to that. It depends on the person. Because obviously, I've never, ever. I'm telling you, I've never waited. I'm just like, oh, you want to play games? I'm out. It could be 6 months. It could be 2 months. It could be a year. You're playing games. I'm out. This time around, I'd invested 1, 2, 3. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes you want to be in, sometimes you want to be out. It's like you got to choose your battle. So it's like all in what you make it. This the longest running time for Trisha, okay?
You got
so I
caught
don't
by
know.
love bug, baby.
Cause some people they be out, they be like, all right, after a year, it's either we in this thing or we out of this thing, and then they be out. That used to be me. Now I'm riding the wave.
How long you gonna ride this wave?
Not too much longer.
You ticking 30, sis.
If it don't hit the surface soon, sis out.
That's a whole.
If it don't hit the surface soon, I'm out.
No, you're not.
I mean, I get it. My clock is ticking, but it's like it's not that important. It's important to me.
I take that back. I take that back. Forgive me for saying that was so ignorant to me to say your clock is ticking, because being married and having children does not define a woman's life. Like
it doesn't.
Like you can be a woman and without children, without getting married, and be a successful woman. Like,
I mean, you definitely can, but it's definitely a desire. So it's like when your heart is set on something like that, it's like you want it to. It's like you desire to have kids and marriage. Like you don't want to be too old having kids, but I've seen it done. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like at a young age, you be like, okay, this is how I want life to go, and this is how I want life to go, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just be looking at it like, dang, I guess it ain't working like that for me.
No,
but sure. Then other times it's like, okay, I can be an independent, successful Black woman and still live my life amazingly without a husband, without kids. We try to say those things in our head, but it's like in our hearts, we still want the idea, or we still want the whole white picket fence. We still want that. I've seen it.
Do you think
my aunt got married at 40? I feel like some people can.
Do you think you'll be happily single?
I have been.
I think I could be. I think I can have a happily single season in my life. I don't think, or I don't want to have a happily single rest of my life. If that makes sense. Like,
and I feel like that's where women get. We don't want to be there stuck. We don't want to be single for forever, which is fine. It's nothing wrong with that.
But I definitely don't want to just rush into something just because I'd be like, all right, I'm getting old. Let me just go ahead and marry him, and that's it. Like I want.
That's where passion. I feel like you get to that patient part.
I still want the passion. Like I still want to like be excited and nervous at the same time to go on a date with you. I still want to do that type of stuff.
Definitely.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Salon Talk. It's me, Misha. You got Patricia over there. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.